Real quick, guys, before the video starts, I just want to give a huge shout out and some love to Dave over at No Carb Life. I appreciate it. Go subscribe to the man. His link will be in the description. Also, if you're interested in things other than health and fitness, I do have another YouTube channel. That will be linked in the description below. It's at Turbo614. On that channel, I just do gaming videos and silliness and just have a good time, just chill out and forget about all the crap in the world. Okay, guys, thank you so much. See you in the next one. And he looked over at me and he's like, holy blank, what's going on here? And he ran over to me and I couldn't talk. I could whisper. I didn't have any energy to wave my arms or do any of that stuff. And he got down on the ground. He's like, dude, what's wrong? And I whispered 911.
Eric, how did you find carnivore?
Well, where do I begin? A video showed up in my newsfeed randomly, which you know how YouTube is. Sometimes some random algorithm just pulls up some video that. Well, anyways, this video came up and I saw a thumbnail, and it was a steak and butter gal, and she had a raw steak hanging out of her mouth. And so, without even really reading the title, I just clicked at it because I'm like, this is something you don't see every day, even for me, you know. So I clicked on it, and I don't remember exactly which video it was, but she was just talking about the carnivore diet and eating butter and steak and eggs, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I watched a bunch of more videos, and eventually I ended up finding you, Sean Baker, Anthony Chafee, Dr. Barry, Eric Westman. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Ken Carnivore, I think is his name, and just there's probably a good 20 or 30 that I came across. So I just started doing research because I consider myself a critical thinker by nature. Spiritually, I'm solid. We could probably go into that in some other video in the future if you want to have a chat about it. So already, I'm already open minded to begin with, and I've been suffering for years and years and years, basically the majority of my adult life. So I was interested in trying something. I've never done any diets before, by the way. I never even considered it, which really irritates me that I never even thought that I could potentially heal myself, you know, not consciously. The body just does everything on by itself, you know. It knows what to do. And so I dug so deep into this that I stopped streaming. I stopped gaming, which is what I normally do for a hobby. You know, it keeps me at home, keeps me with the family. I'm around, you know what I mean? And oh, that rabbit hole. What a rabbit hole I went down. But I started connecting the dots with a lot of things that have gone wrong with me. I would say probably starting around my 30s. I noticed my health starting to decline. I ended up going to a doctor. I'm still not 100% convinced that I had high blood pressure, but he said I did because I went there complaining of at least getting a headache every day, which could have been any number of things. But he did check my blood pressure. Um, he didn't check it right. Now I know how you're supposed to check it. But I was nervous. I was out of my mind on caffeine. You know what I mean? Because I just worked all day. It was hot outside. Like I said, I was nervous because I don't like doctors. I don't like hospitals. I don't want to be anywhere near those places. And I just said, well, he's a doctor. He's an older guy. He's established. He's nice. He's friendly. He seemed reasonable. And he's like, you know, let's put you on this Metropolo. We'll start you off at 25 milligrams. Let's see how the headaches go. Well, the headaches went away within probably 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, maybe I had high blood pressure then, I guess. So I was on that and just didn't question it. A few years later, I didn't find out until after I was ready to leave the hospital that I had walking pneumonia. I was on a job site working with another guy, and I didn't feel good for like the 2 or 3 days previous. I had a tightness in my chest. I was kind of weak. I couldn't lift my arms like up past level, like up above my head or anything like that. And I was having a little bit of a hard time breathing. which I'm sure smoking cigarettes didn't help any because I smoked a lot, drank a lot of caffeine, drank a lot of coffee. Obviously, I was eating garbage. I mean, nothing good. And it got so bad that night that we were on a job. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning because we had to do some night jobs. And he helped me get everything set up. He was inside doing some cleaning. I was running the truck. It was a turbo vac, just a super sucker. It's basically what they're called. I'm sitting in my truck and I I never really cared about my health, was never really concerned about dying or anything else, but I just started getting really bad. I was getting hot flashes. I was getting dizzy. I got out of the truck. I walked about halfway up to the building and then I fell down to the ground and I just laid there for a minute and I'm like, I got to get a hold of this dude because I'm going to die if I don't. I literally thought I was going to die, which maybe I would have. I don't know. I crawled into the building, crawled as far as I could to try to reach him where he was. And this was a machine shop. So there was metal parts and things like that laying around. I gathered up all the strength that I had, which was basically none. And I picked up a part and I kind of threw it sideways like you're going to skip a stone on water. And it just tapped him on the side of his foot. And he looked over at me and he's like, holy blank, what's going on here? And he ran over to me and I couldn't talk. I could whisper. I didn't have any energy to wave my arms or do any of that stuff. And he got down on the ground. He's like, dude, what's wrong? And I whispered 911. Well, I don't remember a whole lot after that. I don't remember exactly how I got from that point to the hospital, but I found out later that my boss at the time, who was just an unbelievable legend, he came, he picked me up, carried me to his pickup. He took me to the closest emergency room. I don't even remember the name of the hospital, honestly. And he carried me in there. He set me down in a chair, and I guess I woke up or came to, or I don't know if I passed out or what. I just don't remember a lot of things. And they were asking me my name and what happened and all this, and I just looked over at my boss and I said a few words that aren't so kind. And so he said, "Look, you guys got to do something with him. He can't talk, he can't breathe, he thinks he's dying." I mean, and so he gave them all my information because I've known him forever and a day. They took me back in there, and from what I understand, because again my memory blanked on me, I guess. They did every test that they possibly could. They checked they checked my lungs, they checked my heart, kidney, stomach. I mean, they checked everything. They did blood work to those. I don't know how many hours later it was, but they did all the things that they were doing and got me stable and got me to the point to where I woke up and I looked at the nurse and I'm like, where am I? And she looked at me like a deer in headlights because I guess she didn't expect me to just snap out of a sleep and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" But that's what happened. And she goes, "Hold that thought." She called a doctor, whoever the doctor was on duty in the ER there. And he comes down, he comes into the room and he goes, "Hey, you're awake." And I'm like, "Yeah, can I go now?" That's what I said. I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready to go, man. I feel pretty good. Let me get out of here." He goes, "No, no, no, no. You gotta calm down. You got walking pneumonia. We almost lost you. At least we thought we were gonna, not to scare you or anything." And my boss is sitting there in a chair looking at me like, this guy's nuts. I didn't know what happened. I didn't really know. And so that was probably the worst part of my health. And the reason I bring that up is because it's a key to how I ended up where I am today. I started having panic attacks after having that pneumonia, and I became extremely hyper focused and I guess hyper aware. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology to use, about every little ache and pain, any feeling that I had, whether it was mentally, physically, just I was super focused on it. And if I felt any tingling, pain, ache, or anything, it would almost immediately throw me to a panic attack because I was afraid, oh man, maybe I'm having a heart attack, I'm going to die, or it just it messed my brain up pretty good. That's the best way I can describe it. But fast forward from that point, of course, eating a terrible diet, drinking lots of caffeine, soda, just regular junk food in the store, starvation. I call it starvation food because that's really what it is. It's starvation food. Um, and when I saw that thumbnail, and I'm like, this girl's chomping on a raw steak. What the hell is she doing? And then I started watching and, like I said, researching and checking all these things out. And I'm like, wait a minute. I bet I can. I bet I could do something here. I bet I could fix myself up a little bit. And yeah, so the rabbit hole happened. I stopped gaming. I stopped streaming. I stopped associating with anyone outside of my family. Um, I just I super focused on doing just that one thing. Um, Over the course of time, from when I got the walking pneumonia until the research time, looking into everything, I did retrain my brain to calm down when I had a panic attack by drinking cool water. So I always carried cool water with me. Work, if we went somewhere out to an event or anything, I always made sure I had cool water. And it took a couple of weeks, but after a couple of weeks, I was able to chill out my panic attacks just by drinking cool water. I know that sounds strange, but it worked for me. And subsequently, I got my daughter to do the same thing because she used to get panic attacks, and it worked for her too. And I'm like, score. Um, so anyway, whew, boy, after doing all of this research, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna stop drinking soda, and I'm gonna stop eating anything with wheat in it or enriched wheat or any grains at all. That's the only two things I focused on. I did just those two things for 3 months. Now, I was still eating other starvation food. I was still using 2 teaspoons of cane sugar and my 20-ounce cup of coffee. I got one of these right here, a Contigo. This is what I drink. I drink one of these every day. Just it was sugar and some milk. I kept that, kept doing my regular eating stuff. I did that for 3 months just to see because I heard about people having carbohydrate withdrawal, sugar withdrawal, and all this stuff. Did that for 3 months. I dropped 25 pounds. Now I know they say probably about 10 of that was water. Well, good because I didn't need to be carrying all that water anyways. You know what I mean? So I lost 25 pounds, and after that, I'm like, I feel pretty good. I didn't feel great, but I felt pretty good. Um, I I don't know if I had or have some type of a condition to where I'm allergic to wheat or enriched wheat or it's hybridized, it's GMO. It's not original wheat. It's far, far, far from it. And I even researched it into all of that, how they bred the plants to make the stalks shorter and make them fuller and easier to harvest and you know bird resistant, whatever they did, all this junk that they did to this wheat to make it the way it is today. And when I stopped eating it, I stopped having random pulsations in different parts of my body, which is inflammation, obviously. So I don't know if I was just allergic to it or my body just got tired of it or if it could only take so much because I loved bread. I loved Italian bread. I loved white bread. I loved toast. I loved all, rolls, biscuits, whatever. So I cut those three things out, did that for 3 months, dropped to 25 pounds. And then I said, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. Let's make sure this is what's going on. So I didn't go back to drinking soda, but I did eat a little bit of bread. And the first time I ate a little bit of bread, I had that pulsating, that inflammation, and that's the worst feeling to have. It's just for me, it was the worst feeling to have. So I did that for about a week, and then after that week, I woke up. It was on a Saturday, or actually, I was going to bed on a Friday night, and I said, you know what, tomorrow I'm just going to do this cold turkey. I'm cutting everything completely because I still had fresh in my mind how much better I felt just from doing those two things. I woke up that Saturday morning and that was it. I went from flavored coffee to black coffee with nothing in it, which is gross. I can't stand it. I hate it. It tastes horrible. Of course, now I put sea salt in it and I love it because I love salty. I've always loved salty better than sweet. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. Um, I've never liked vegetables. I never went out of my way to eat fruit. If there was fruit around, I might eat a piece of it, but more than likely, I would just want coffee, sugar, creamer, maybe some fresh vanilla flavoring, whatever. So quitting it cold turkey which is not recommended. I didn't find that little piece of information out until maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that you should probably just slowly transition. I'm like, well, I kind of primed myself for 3 months. So I don't think, that week or whatever it was that I kind of went back to doing regular stuff. I still had a couple things cut out. So maybe I kind of transitioned. So once I cold turkey quit that day, what happened was I was good Saturday, I was good Sunday. But then when I went to work on Monday, I started having a minor ache in my head, just a little remnant of a headache in my head. It wasn't enough to where I needed to take anything or I couldn't do my job. It was just irritating me. That lasted for a day and a half, which I'm pretty sure now was sugar withdrawals. I'm guessing. I'm assuming that's what it was. I don't know. But after that day and a half, I haven't had a headache since. I'm on what? I made notes. I had to look at my notes. I'm on day 71. Today is day 71. I have not had a headache since. I got a list of 31 things. I sleep better. I have better energy, clear skin, also no oily skin. I'm a ginger, and I've always thought that gingers have dandruff, oily skin, oily hair, and we're pale by nature. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I've always thought. I don't know if that's something I learned, just like eating bad food was okay. I don't know what happened there. But clearly that's not true. I'm less irritated mood wise, so things don't get to me as fast as they used to. Like if something goofy. I drive a truck for a living locally. I drive a roll off truck locally for a living here. People cut you off, and road rage. I used to be that guy, but after I just pay attention to these things as I was going along. I'm like, I better start keeping track of this. So I started keeping notes on my phone. Like, wait a minute, I didn't flip that guy off and try and chase him down and run him off. I didn't do any of that. I behaved myself. I just blew it off. Um, so that's good. Better focus. I had okay focus before, but I was easily distracted. You know what I mean? Um, but now my focus, I don't want to say it's laser sharp. I mean, I'm sure it'll improve more. It'll get better. But if I set out to do something, I can clear my mind very easily and focus on that and just go for it. Like setting up this camera for this recording today. I said I got to get this fixed up and done. So we got that taken care of. I no longer have any joint pain. My left knee, you can kind of grab the kneecap and move it around, and it would ache. And I've popped it out of place a few times years ago. Twisted my left ankle, so I ended up having joint pain from that. That joint pain has completely disappeared, so I don't have that anymore. Where are we at? This is going to be one I don't really hear people saying, but I'm okay with saying it. After working all day and coming home, and you take off those hot leather work boots, you get a little sticky feet. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. My feet don't even sweat anymore. You know what I mean? Just normal wear and tear on the feet. So that's pretty awesome. I'm sure my wife is happy about that too. Um, I used to run away from the sunshine. I was always hiding from it because, again, I'm a ginger. I got freckles and all that, sunspots, whatever you want to call them. And just even walking in the sun for less than a minute, I would just start sweating profusely. As in fact, anything I would do, I would sweat. It didn't matter if it was summer or winter. I would sweat just like instantly for seemingly no reason. I don't do that anymore. And when the sun's out, I'm trying to get in it. Not because of research that I've done online. It's just like one day I went outside. I was outside playing with the dog in the backyard, as a matter of fact. That's what it was. I was checking on the pool, and the sun was out and it was hot. And I was like, ooh, wow, this feels really good. I'm enjoying this. And I chilled outside for a while. I didn't sweat the whole time I was out there. I didn't get burned. I'm like, put it on the list. So I added it to the list. Oh, let's see. What else do we have? I already mentioned the sweating. Oh, my sense of smell increased, which I've always had a sensitive sense of smell. I could smell things from blocks away. if a car passed on the highway, the other side of the highway, and they were maybe indulging in some adult activities, I could smell it. You know what I mean? The smoke and all. I could smell that kind of stuff. And now it's even better, but at the same time it's worse because um for an example, yesterday morning and this morning, me and my son would go DoorDash, and that's where you deliver food to people, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And instead of smelling the food, I'll give you a great example. We picked up an order at Bob Evans, which is my all-time favorite restaurant. My son goes in, he gets the order, he comes out to the car, he gets in the car. All I smell is hot packaging, styrofoam, and plastic. I didn't smell any food. It was disgusting. I'm like, there's no way my nose is that sensitive, but it is. So I put it down in the notes. So things like that. That's kind of maybe a curse, but maybe it's a blessing also because it's a really good deterrent. My body's like, dude, no, you don't want that stuff anymore. It's not your favorite anymore. Don't touch it. So I guess it's more of a blessing in that way. Um, Physically, I'm stronger, which this one's really surprised me. I was going to wait a full 90 days to try and stuff my body with as much beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, you know the saying, as I can to give my body, you know, at least a full 90 days to kind of get used to it and maybe start doing some healing and some other things before I go out there and start push, pull, lift heavy things, do some sprinting, things like that. Um, Part of that's a little laziness. I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to give it 90 days. When I hit that 90-day mark, I'm going. I got a treadmill right here. If it's raining outside, I don't care. I could just go on the treadmill in here. I could, we got a lot of stuff around here that I could pick up that's heavy, so I'd be good on that too. So that's coming pretty soon. I think, like I mentioned before, I don't have the pulsating in the various parts of my body because my inflammation's gone. I don't have any gas. I mentioned I don't have any headaches. Um, One thing that makes me think I may have potentially been pre-diabetic. I was never diagnosed because I hated doctors. I didn't want to go after that first time to get the blood pressure medicine. Um, if I drank a bottle of water, I would pee like 6 times afterwards, and I'm like, I the truck driving that I did for the company prior to this one, you could drive 400-600 miles in a day, and there's not always a bathroom, and I had to go all the time. It was really irritating. Now I'm probably drinking 3 or 4 times the amount of water that I was, which I wasn't drinking very much back then, but the little bit that I did, man, I was in the bathroom all the time. So I don't go to the bathroom that much anymore. Um, and I only drink when I'm thirsty. If my mouth's a little dry, I'm like, yeah, we'll have a little water. Otherwise, I don't even worry about it because everything's been going good. Um, I do all the grocery shopping, so I buy the family the things that they want because everybody's kind of picky, wants to eat their own thing. And I'm only eating, I'm eating beef, I'm eating bacon, I'm eating butter, I'm eating eggs and water. That's it. So it's real simple. There's so many recipes for things that you can make. Today, I did an experiment, which I won't repeat. I got some Bob Evans breakfast sausage from the store, and I'm like, well, let me see if I can eat this. It's pork, it's seasoned. Let's see if I can eat some of that. So I made 6 egg yolks because I don't eat the whites. My body reacts bad to them. I get a little nauseous for maybe 30 seconds to a minute after eating egg whites. So I take the yolks out. I had 6 egg yolks, and I had probably a quarter pound of that breakfast sausage, and I cooked it all together and mixed it. It was super tasty, but I got a little pulsating um, for probably 10, 15 minutes. My blood pressure went up, so I can't eat that anymore. So that's off the list. Real easy experiment. Now I know. So yeah, grocery shopping, cooking, that's all super simple. My blood pressure before I started was it averaged around 145 over 80, and now it's a steady 120 over 80, maybe a little lower on the 80 side. But I'm still on the blood pressure medicine. I've been switched from metoprolol 25 milligrams a day to lisinopril 10 milligrams a day, and because I'm a truck driver, I have to do a yearly physical with the doctor every year. So I had no choice but to go at least once a year. And when I went a year ago, she said, "Hey, would you be interested in trying some different medicine?" She goes, "Maybe it'll help with the constipation," because I had constipation, diarrhea, back and forth. It was never normal um, until I started this. And yeah, sure, why not? You know, I didn't know if she was just pushing something because it was on sale or they're getting bonuses or what, but I'm like, I'll give it a try. Why not? I've been on that ever since. And I definitely had less side effects from that than I did the metropolol. So that worked out. So I'm still on that. I'm staying on that until I go to my next physical, which is the beginning of October. I'm going. And that's when I'm going to talk to her about chopping me down on this, maybe going down to 5 milligrams and then cutting it down from there because I don't think I need it anymore, to be quite honest. I stopped taking, this is a big one. I stopped taking it's basically Prilosec. I can't say the scientific name.
The omeprazole.
Omeprazole. Yeah. Omeprazole. I was taking 20 milligrams of that twice a day up until I stopped taking it after that 3 month primer. When I got to the end of that 3 month primer, I said, because I had done research on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, no doctor ever told me this is only supposed to be used temporarily. I can just imagine the damage I've caused to my body by taking this stuff. I was on that for years and years and years. I mean, way too long. But anyway, so I'm off of that. I don't have heartburn anymore. I don't eat every 2 hours. I have one big meal a day when I come home from work, which normally will be a pound of beef, whether it's patties or just ground beef with sea salt in it. Sometimes I put egg yolks in it, sometimes I don't. It just depends. Or it could be a combination of that and hot dogs. I guess I'm technically a dirty carnivore yet. Um, I'll get there, but I mean, eating meat is better than not eating it. So, I'm good with that. Um, so that's another great one. This is a great one. My teeth got stronger. So previous to my 3 month priming that I started, I like beef jerky. I think most people like beef jerky. It's really good. It's tasty. I had a really hard time because beef jerky's tough, and my teeth and my jaws just felt squishy, and I had to kind of gnaw on it very gently. Um, at the end of that 3 month primer, I ate some beef jerky, and I noticed that at least from here over to this side of my mouth, it's like this side of my mouth was starting to repair, and I could chew in that beef jerky like it was bubble gum. You know what I mean? Like it was Jello. It was no big deal. I'm like, okay, okay. So I started chewing some on this side, and it was a little squishy, a little weak, but I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and I kept moving it over more and more and more, and now my entire mouth is solid again. I mean, I have bad teeth. They need to be replaced from abuse for 50 years, but I can chew that stuff with zero issues. My gums got stronger. I have to go to a dentist at some point to get my damage from all the previous years fixed. But the last time I was at the dentist a couple years ago, he said I had signs of gingivitis. He said my gums are receding, but I kind of check them with my tongue, every once in a while, and I'm like, they feel pretty solid to me. They don't hurt anymore. I don't have any more pain. I mean, I have a lot of bad teeth in there, but they're not getting any worse. So I'm going to take that. That's a win for now. So we'll keep going with that. I'm sure that's going to get better. Um, I did have a slight amount of acne before starting, which was primarily just from sweating constantly. I think potentially the sugar too. So that's minimal. I'm more stable on my feet. Um, it wasn't super often, but especially in wintertime, which it's hard to walk on ice anyways. You can't. But I would have my days where I would just wake up and I was just a klutz the entire day for no apparent reason. And I don't have those issues anymore. Like I think about what I'm doing before I do it, and then I do it. It happens really fast, but so I don't have those issues of slipping and walking into stuff, stubbing my toe because I didn't see a table leg or something. You know what I mean? It's just I see it and I'm like, nope, not gonna do that. I may have touched on it a little bit. Going down the rabbit hole of research and all these ingredients and different doctors, physicians, nutritionists, all these medications, the narrative behind all this. I'm actually super invested in wanting to learn as much as I can. If I wasn't 50 years old, which is probably a bad excuse. I probably could and should still do it anyways. Is I wanted to study, go back to school and study to be a nutritionist, but I did research on that and found out, you have to play the part, you have to do residency, there's all these things. And I'm like, I can't do that. I couldn't do it. I'm too much of a rebel. There's no way I could play the role and be like, yes, food pyramid. This is all you need to do. Eat less, move more, blah, blah, blah. There's no way I could do that. So I'll do everything I can up to that point, but I won't be able to do that, I suppose. So I definitely have more of a desire to want to learn new things, which is pretty cool. Panic attacks are gone. I don't get dizzy anymore. I used to get dizzy randomly, which was a part of the panic attacks. Um, I don't really play with the scale very much. I don't really care if I'm losing weight. I know that probably sounds strange, but I didn't do this to lose weight. I'm doing this to feel normal. I want to feel like I did at 30 years old before my health started dying, basically dying is the way I say it. So I don't pay much attention to scale. I do still weigh myself. I haven't measured myself inches wise, but I have a pair of pants, an old pair of uniform pants that I could wear back then. And every couple of weeks, I'll put them on and I'll say, okay, they're one of these days I'm going to be able to wear them. I'm getting there. I'm getting close to it. So I don't really measure inches either, but I definitely know that I'm losing inches, and I could see it in my stomach. My stomach's getting flatter, and once I start working out, I mean, it's just gonna go crazy. I'm pretty sure. Um, and I don't. I used to get leg cramps all the time before starting this way of eating, and now I get it. I'll get a little ache in one of my calves once in a while, and I know it's a cramp that would come on, that's trying to come on or whatever like that. So I'll just adjust. I take Element, so I'll just adjust when I take it. So for now, at least, I'm taking it around 7 p.m. I usually go to bed by 8 p.m. because of work. I have to get up really early, and then no cramps, and I'm good. So if I do that, I'm good for now till my body gets adjusted, at least, anyways. So when I started, which was the 3 month primer, I was 225 pounds. And as of yesterday, when I weighed myself, I was 198 pounds. Yes, some of that's water weight. And I wasn't really carnivore the first 3 months. I was just kind of dabbling, you know what I mean? But so that is all the things that I could think of now. And the second we're done here, I'll come up with 5 more. I know I will. But there are some negatives that I do want to go over. Very few, though. Very few. Um, the family gave me a little grief at first, and they still do periodically because they think I'm crazy. They think that I'm eating red meat and a lot of fat. I'm going to clog my arteries and have a heart attack and die. I can't really fault them for that because we're all born and raised into that system. So, of course, they're going to think that. I did get some grief from coworkers. Some of the, not big time grief, but every once in a while, um, they'll they'll come in and they'll cook us breakfast or they'll cook us dinner and stuff like that. They're like, "Hey, why don't you come get some?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm only eating meat. What do you got? Any meat there? I'll eat some meat. If you got some of that, I'll have it." They're like, "What do you mean? What are you doing? But once they understood what I was doing, they were on board, and they're like, "Okay, okay, okay." They're like, "This guy's here. Give him a pile of meat." And so now all of that is fine. And like I said, the other negative that I had was I had that annoying kind of a headache for a day and a half when I started. Um, I still haven't sorted out why I potentially still have the runs here and there. I'm gonna guess it's probably the coffee. I probably have to get rid of the coffee, but I like my caffeine, so that's something I got to work on. But I'm thinking once I get out there and I get to exercise and then push, pull, and lift heavy things, that doesn't just tighten up your muscles; it tightens up your insides too. You know what I mean? So there might be some just out of shape inside things going on there too. I mean, 50 years of, you know what I mean, abusing myself. It's gonna take a while, so I'm not expecting a miracle or anything like that. Even though I feel like I got at least 31 listed so far. But that was the long version of how I got to carnivore. And here I am now talking to you, which is absolutely awesome, by the way.
Cheers. So, congratulations. In 71 days, that's an awesome list.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised.
Yeah. So, could I just check one thing about You mentioned something you were eating. You said like you probably have ground beef in the evening with sea salt, maybe some eggs. Are you only eating once a day?
Oh, geez, I forgot. See, I got sidetracked slightly. So during the day when I'm working, I'll have my 20-ounce black coffee with sea salt in it. Okay, and then usually around 9, 10 o'clock, I get hungry. Oh, I should have added that to the list. Having actual hunger pains. I haven't had those since I was 30. I sorry, I forgot to mention that. I'll put it on the list later. Um, and why I say I'm eating dirty carnivores because I've settled on clean provolone, the cleanest provolone that I can find, which is pretty good. There's almost nothing in it, but what should be in it. And then the salami, it's dirty salami. It's got some stuff in it, but it doesn't have sugar or anything in it. So I will take 6, 8. They're thick cut slice. I'll eat like 6 or 8. I'll wrap it in a piece of provolone and I'll eat it like a little half a sandwich. I'll do that 2 or 3 times while I'm working. It depends on how hot it is, how much activity I'm doing. I might get more hungry, so I'll slam a couple of those down. Lots of water, um, and that's it. And then in the afternoon, it'll be a concoction of a pound of beef. No matter how I make it, it could be hamburgers, it could be just ground beef with some sea salt in it. Um, I got a hold of some Parmigiano Reggiano, which is legit, real cheese imported from Italy. It's even got the stamp on the side of the wheel. You could see it, and I grate that at home into the. Oh man, it's so good. I just ate, and I'm hungry in my mind, but yeah. So I'm kind of mini grazing right now during the day, and I want to get to a point to where I'm just having that one meal when I get home, and I'm not thinking about food or anything all day. That's the goal. If that's not how it works out, that's okay because I do like to eat and I do like red meat. I always have. So if I can knock that and make that like 2 actual meals, that's fine. The reason I do a mini graze like that during the day, though, um, which I'm glad you asked me about that, is because I'm not used to having that full feeling. Um, because when I was on a standard Western diet, I'm eating every 2 hours. I thought I was full, but that's not the feeling I was getting. I was just tired of eating what I was eating. My body was like, okay, dude, give it a break. But now when I eat, I'm like, I feel like I'm stuffed up to my neck and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm not eating for 3 days. That's what you feel like. And if I have a little bit of beef left, I'm just like, ugh, I can't even look at it. So now that's how I know, I'm eating the right amount. And I'm still not used to that feeling yet, and I don't like it. So I keep cutting myself a little short. I think a little up here. I'm like, so I back off a little. So I probably need to eat more, but once I start exercising, I'm sure that'll, catch up.
So you talked about your family's reaction to the way you're eating, but they've noticed your health improvements.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I I think the real moment that's probably going to open some of their eyes is when I come off of that blood pressure medicine. I think that's going to be the point. So I'm not pushy with them very much. I will say things once in a while if I see somebody eat something, like, that's all sugar. It's not sugar, it's bread. I'm like, sugar. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I learned really fast to just not be pushy about it and to just chill out, let them do what they're doing, say little things here and there, and just wait until that day when I come off that blood pressure medicine. Plus, once I hit 90 days, I'm going to be out there, rain, shine, snow. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be out there sprinting and I'm going to be out there, push ups, chin ups, whatever. And they're going to see the physical change. They
Mm,
see me every day, so they don't notice the stomach getting flatter. I notice it, but they don't, you know what I mean? They see me every day. So,
yeah. So you talked about you go to bed at 8 o'clock. What's your sleep pattern like because of your work?
um, I've never had a hard time sleeping ever. Not as far back as I can remember. Even when I was on the starvation food diet program for almost 50 years there, I've never had any issues sleeping. Maybe every once in a while, like if I had a cold or the flu or something like that, maybe it'd be a little rough. But I mean, on a normal basis, I never have a hard time sleeping. So I go to bed by 8 o'clock at night. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning to give myself time to make sure I got everything ready. I got to get my salt coffee. You know what I mean? I got to have my little caffeine. Get my lunch together in the morning, and then I'm at work by 4:45. So I do that 5 days a week. I don't have any issues getting up. I don't have any issues sleeping. When I lay my head down on that pillow, I have my phone next to me plugged in on the nightstand. The alarm's already set. I have it automatically set for every day. Um, I'll play some longer carnivore style videos because soak in the knowledge, you know what I mean? Something that's maybe an hour or, something like that. And I'll put that on, and usually I'm gone within 10 minutes. Next thing I know, my alarm's going off. So no issue sleeping ever.
And is there any change in the last 71 days with how you feel when you wake up?
I would say definitely for sure. I used to wake up every day and just hate the fact that I woke up that day. I know that sounds extreme, but the majority of the time I would wake up and just want to hit the snooze button and just not get back up. Just like I just you just it's almost it's kind of the I used to drink a lot when I was way younger. It was the equivalent of waking up and having all of those crappy feelings minus the hangover part, the actual headache part. You're just like, "Oh, dude, I got to do this again." That's how I used to feel. Now, the majority of the time what happens if I'm really tired, I'm doing stuff outside and I, do a little more physical stuff than I would normally do. Um, Sometimes I'll hit the snooze button and be like, a couple more minutes. And then when it goes off, I'm up. Or what happens the majority of the time is I wake up about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before my alarm even goes off. That's the norm for what usually happens. And I'm just like, I just get up and start doing my stuff. And then I'm looking at the clock going, I don't want to leave this early. I'm going to just sit here and play on my phone a little bit. So yeah, sleep is great. Getting up is not really an issue, which is awesome because I hated getting up before. No, I don't mind. I want to get up and I want to get going.
Has anyone around you expressed any interest at all in how do I do this, or I should give this a try?
I actually I've been pushing my son a little bit. I call him Junior. So we talk in the future. I'll say Junior. You automatically know who I'm talking about. It's just and he's definitely shows interest. He's on a lot of various medications for various things that he shouldn't be on. He's only 21 years old. You know what I mean? And he has a lot of the health problems that people our age have. You know what I mean? From a lifetime of abuse. He's only 21 and I'm not going to dox the guy, you know what I mean? But yeah, so he shows interest. I'm actually going to take him grocery shopping next weekend when he gets his money to go grocery shopping. And I don't know as much about the specific ketogenic diet. I only know what I'm doing and know it fairly well so far. So I have a bunch of research to do on that, but I'm gonna try and steer him towards that because he does like to have, he likes peanuts, he likes to have a little lettuce, certain things. So I'm gonna try and steer him that way and see how he does. I have managed to get him to basically consume zero sweeteners of any kind, but the problem is, and I'm working on this still in the background, is he's type 2 diabetic. So when he doesn't eat sugar, his sugar can drop dangerously low, and therefore he has to eat sugar to bring it back up. And I'm like, this, this isn't going to work like this. So, um, I have to work with him and get that figured out a little bit better because the medical team that he has are I'm just gonna be blunt. They're pill pushers. You know what I mean? That's all they are. They just here. Oh, you don't feel good? Here, take this. Oh, there's a side effect from that medication. Oh, well, take this medication to take care of that side effect from that other medication. That's the kind of people he's dealing with. So that's going to be a longer road, but I'm hopeful. You know,
Yeah.
we'll get him squared away. And my one daughter loves steak. She goes, Dad, I'll tell you what. You feed me a steak every day, I'm on it because she loves steak. She could eat steak 24/7. I don't know, but um, I can't afford to buy her steak every day and cook it every day. I work 12 hours, and but uh, that's pretty much it, though. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
else thinks I'm nuts, and that's okay. I don't mind. It's okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I find people think you're a bit crazy or out of your mind. It's like it's almost like a badge of honor, you know. It's like I'm quite happy, think of me what you like.
Yeah, they think I'm a rebel, and I'm like, okay, I'm living up to the way I've always been because I've never cared what anyone thought of me at all, and I still don't. So I'm just like, all right, cool, yay.
Yeah. So just back on the medications as you were mentioning in relation to your son with the type 2 diabetes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I think one of the things that you find doing something like carnivore or even being on a keto diet is it kind of opens your mind to being able to question medication and say, well, I don't think this is the only way of fixing things. Maybe we can heal ourselves with the way we eat or what we do every day or that kind of thing. um
Absolutely.
yeah, it's it's been a real eye opener for me in that regard.
It's amazing what the human body is capable of, and I've been diving super deep into all this stuff, just picking a subject for every couple hours and then rotate every single day and just keep going back in. And I remember when I found out that the majority of quote unquote disorders and diseases are metabolic, not genetic. And I'm like, ooh, insert swear word here. These people are really just, man, we could have a deep dive conversation on that one someday if you'd like to. I have a whole I have a whole entire theory about all of this. It's not good. It's all bad. It's at the heart of it, it's all evil. Um, you could look at it as greed, people making money, sure, but that's still evil anyway. So, I mean, either way you look at it, keep us sick, keep us alive as long as possible. Don't have us be healthy because if we're healthy, they're not making money. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
it does boil down to that, right?
It sure does. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, if someone asked you, "How do I get started with carnivore?" What advice would you give them?
I have one guy who I throw little tidbits of information at, but if someone were to ask me seriously, say, "Hey, I want to give this a shot, man. What do you think? What should I do?" Um, I'm assuming it would be someone I know, so I'd have some idea of their habits or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Like one person that I know, he likes to drink beer on the weekends. I'm like, well, let's try cutting back on a little bit of that beer, maybe, or something like that. But just in generally speaking, I would encourage people to do, a 3-month priming. Whatever are the two hardest things that you think you couldn't possibly live without, cut one of those, which is probably going to be sugar, actual sugar. Cut that down to a bare minimum. Do it for 3 months. Don't eat anything with wheat in it or enriched wheat. Just those two things alone. Do that for a few months and you're going to be like, whoa, because that's going to work for everyone, regardless. That's going to help everybody. You know what I mean? It would help a dog or a cat, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? They have a lot of disease. They have epilepsy. They have seizures. These dogs have all these same problems. Well, gee, I wonder why. You know what I mean? The same stuff's being given to them. So that's what I would tell somebody. I would say just cut down on your sugar as much as you can. Stay away from enriched wheat. Try that. Try it for a month, 2 months, 3 months. See how you feel. You're going to feel better, guaranteed.
Y Yeah, and the thing is when they start to feel better, then they're gonna want more of that, right? So they're gonna get
Yeah.
further and further towards carnivore.
Yeah, and they'll start at they would I would imagine they would start asking me more questions and be like, wait, this guy told me to do this, and now I feel amazing. Hold on, what else you got? Okay, I'll give you the next step. Okay, anything with seed oils in it, stop eating that. You know, that basically eliminates probably 99% of the center of a grocery store, I think, and the aisles at the cash registers, and probably half of the edge of the store too. You know, where all the coffee flavorings and margarine and all that other junk is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Really nice advice. Um, so Eric, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have any social media or YouTube channel or anything like that?
So I have at PhD Predator for my YouTube channel. It's an old YouTube channel that I made like way back in 2015. I made it as a spare channel off of my main channel, which has nothing to do with this stuff. That's just gaming and me being silly and having a good time. But yeah, so the PhD Predator at PhD Predator on YouTube. Um, all these years I've had that channel. I'm like, I'm going to do something with it one day, and I don't know what. And then when this all started, I'm like, aha, now I know. All I have on there right now is a little quick intro video, but I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff on there. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm only, what, 71 days in, but I got a long way to go because I'm not quitting until I'm dead. So a lot of videos to come, hopefully. So that's pretty much it for now.
Nice. Well, I'll link to that below.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I'd love to have you back on at some point and maybe dive a little bit deeper into the discussion around the medications and the corruption, all that kind of thing too.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do an update with you when I get off that blood pressure medicine. Ooh, I can't wait. It's
Mhm.
gonna be great. Man,
Yeah, yeah, nice. So thanks so much for your time today, Eric. Really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate the offer to come on and I thank you and hopefully we'll talk again soon.